What is up, you guys? LQ here with the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. This is where I talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that I love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now, I'm going to give you guys my review of the remake of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. I missed this when it was in theaters. And it was something that I wanted to see strictly because I grew up watching the original. The original was on HBO all the time. My parents subscribed to HBO, so I watched that original Christina Applegate film many, many times growing up because that was before streaming, right? If you wanted to watch it, you either had it on VHS. If you wanted to watch something, you either put something in the VHS or it was on HBO or regular TV. So oftentimes, you were at the mercy of what was ever on HBO or Cinemax or whatever you were subscribed to. For me, it was HBO. So ended up watching Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead a lot. And I recently revisited it, and I can't say it's a great film, but I have a ton of nostalgia for it. And I do think Christina Applegate gives a pretty good performance in it. So obviously, I'm interested in the remake. I missed it when it was in theaters. It was something that I was so apprehensive about that I just kind of didn't want to fork over the money that would take to go see it in the theaters. So I was like, I'm going to wait for it to come out on streaming. And I waited. And I waited and I waited. And it never came out on streaming. And guys, I was checking Fandango. I was checking all these different places where you can buy movies. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And then finally, I did a quick search on Amazon. And I learned that it was streaming exclusively on BET Plus. I'm not a subscriber to BET, but I ended up getting a 7-day free trial just so I could watch this movie. While I was on BET, by the way, I ended up watching a few other things. There's some pretty good content on there. But I digress. I had my 7-day trial. It's over now, and I allowed it to run its course. But Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is a modern day remake slash retelling that has the same general idea. Now, when this first came out, a lot of people really hated on it. First of all, it was a lot of people hated on it because it was race bent, right? You swapped out a white main cast for a black main cast, and I don't care about that. I don't care about that. This is not sacred ground that we're treading on here. This is Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. If you want to do a reimagining and have a different background, different perspective on it, I think that's fine. So it kind of blew my mind that people were upset about that. If you're really upset about it, you can still go watch the old one. This is the same story. It's just a different perspective. And don't get me wrong, there are cases where I'm not a fan of race-bending characters. Characters that have been established for 30, 40, 50 years. Yeah, I think that they should be whatever race they were originally intended to be it white, be it black, be it whatever. But in this case, like I said, it's not sacred ground here. We can experiment with this. And I'm happy to say that I enjoyed this movie. And I think I'm the only person alive that did. It definitely has the same beats as the original, the same concept, a lot of the same ideas. Heck, there was even a lot of the same music. A lot of people in the film had the same names. It wasn't a shot-for-shot remake like the Vince Vaughn Psycho or anything like that, but it was a beat-by-beat remake. And it really caught a lot of those same ideas. A lot of the same lines are in this film. It just really felt very familiar. And I appreciated the fact that it seemed like the director of this movie was a fan of the original and wanted to give this new take on it that, number one, was modern, and number two, involved a completely different family, and I thought that was great. So, I thought the performances in this were fine. I thought the performances were funny. Now it seems like I'm heaping a ton of praise on this film, And just let me say, it's not my favorite movie of the year. It's not going to be in my top 10 favorite movies of the year. But if I'm going on a positive or negative scale where I have to give it one of the two ratings, positive or negative, I'm going positive on this movie because I was entertained. I felt that it was true to the spirit of the original. And I thought that it gave an interesting new take on the original. Was there a couple eye-rolling moments? Yeah, there was. I mean, no, I'm saying this as someone who's got very pale white skin, right? Someone who can't relate um, someone who's living in America as a black person. I can't relate to that. I can't even put myself in those shoes. I don't know what it's like. But I can say that, I felt that the babysitter coming in and being a racist might have been a little too on the nose. And um, when the babysitter died and they don't want to call the cops because they're afraid of the cops, I don't know. Like I said, I can't put myself in the shoes of Black America. So I don't know how real that fear of police is. And if that fear is real, I personally can't relate to it because that's something that I don't have to experience. I know that with my African American friends, they have conveyed to me that while they don't personally have a fear of the police, they know that's a very real thing. So I definitely respect that and um, and don't want to diminish that. I just can't relate to it either, and so I felt just kind of, I don't know, as someone who really supports our law enforcement, I just didn't really care for that segment of it. But that's very nitpicky. That's a very, very small couple minute segment of this film. Overall, I'm going really positive on this. I had a really good time with it, and I thought it was really interesting to see, as someone who has, majored in history, as someone who enjoys working with the youth of America, which is what I do. I'm someone who's definitely fascinated by other cultures in America. And I've always said America's not a melting pot. America's a salad dish. And you have all these different flavors in the salad dish. And when it comes together, it's great. And, you've got all these different flavors in the United States, and black culture is a different culture than white culture, which is a different culture than Latin culture. It's all different, and I like seeing things from different perspectives. It educates me, it makes me a better person, but it's also interesting. It's just interesting to me. So this to me was a look at Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead from a different perspective. I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting, and I would not mind seeing more remakes of films done like this that, are not those sacred ground movies like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead was. So, I don't know, just my take on it. So, let me know what you thought in the comments below. And while you're down there commenting, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and just just keep it civil. Anytime that topics like this come up, oftentimes people can just do this, butt heads, and get hateful and get angry at each other, and I'm not about that. I'm all about conversation, dialogue, and learning from each other. So, and I know I still have a lot to learn, and the reality is most people have a lot to learn. So, conversation is the best way to do that. So, let's have a conversation, and until next time, guys, we'll see you guys later.